What's up, YouTube? 24 Tributor here, and today I've been I've been working on my Merchant Chaos deck, considering how it kind of got ruined by the format change. Let me show you right here. This is what the old version looks like. Heavy, Reborn, and Avarice got banned, and Thunder King got limited to 1. With this, I have had to basically completely redesign the deck. This new version is how I've made the deck, and this is what I feel will work. My light engine is basically the same with the 1 BLS, 3 Merchant, 3 Dialk, 3 Nova, 3 Veiler, and 2 Raikou. But I now have 16 lights instead of 15 because I added a Vylon Prism, because it's a great level 4 tuner and it can attach itself to anything I synchro for except for the Armory Arm and Formula Synchron, because and the Frozen Fitzgerald, because they're either too low a level or wrong summoning conditions. And then that 1000 attack really comes in handy with Violent Prism. The Dark Engine of 3 Chaos Sorcerer, or no, 1 Chaos Sorcerer. Wow, 3 would be busted. 1 Sork, 3 Fader, 1 Gores, 2 Junk, 2 Torguide, and the Archfiend of Gilfer all stayed. The Armageddon Knight, Ambitious Gopher, and 3 Chaos Necromancers out for the Violent Prism I mentioned earlier, 2 Plague Spreader, and 2 Summoner Monk. I can open Monk and a spell and have a first turn level 8 Synchro now, or rank 4 Seas. And if I open Monk spell BLS, I have first turn BLS with and Stardust Radiance or Stardust. The spell lineup has also had to change. Allure is new to the deck. I know it seems kind of contradictory adding Allure and having 1 less dark instead of 1 more, but the Allure, I figured, because Avarice is banned, I need some digging power, and this is the best replacement. Book of Moon is still here. Burial from a Different Dimension. I don't believe that was in the last build. It's in this one because, let's say BLS and Chaos Sorcerer are both banned or banished. Oh my god, I should not be doing these at night. Yeah, if both BLS and Chaos Sorcerer are both banished, I can play this, put them 2 back in the graveyard, and anything else I might want in the graveyard. And these are returns, not sends, so they get around D-Fissure and Macro, which are both also at 1. Dark Hole and Foolish are still here because they're basically staples. I cut the Warrior Returning Alive down to 2 because 3 has been cloggy in testing, so 2 feels like the better number. Plus I only have 3 targets, so 3 spells for 3 targets doesn't exactly seem that helpful. And the 3 MST have been moved to the main deck. Since Heavy Storm is no longer an option, the MST in the main deck has to happen. I can negate any field spell with it, negate any fire formation spell, and hit on a ton of stuff that otherwise I could not hit on. That's pretty much it for the main deck. Onto the side deck. The 2 Kaiku are still here. Thunder King kinda has to stay in this deck. Even at 1, it's staying. The 2 Electric Fires, I was initially going to cut these when I heard the Dragon Rulers were getting demolished, but looking at YCS Toronto, I see they're necessary to stay. And I play 2 Max C to finish off the monsters in the side deck. These slow down some decks. They're here if I need them. Spells in the side deck. 2 enemy controller, which also returned from last format, as did 2 Forbidden Lands. Some stuff had to go, like the second Thunder King, the Droll and Lockbirds, and something else came out. Oh right, the MSTs were moved to the main, and the Maxis came in. So, yeah. So additions to the side deck are 2 Spell Shattering Arrow, because this hits on Prophecy and Fire Fists, and Noble Knights to an extent. With the Noble Arms, because I think it makes a miss timing. But yeah, Fire Fist and Prophecy are the main reasons for these. And then another new addition suggested by my brother, 2 Night Beam. I have yet to test these. They haven't been sided in yet, so I'm not quite sure how they're going to do. But they're here for now. So, yeah, they just hit at stuff that can't be responded with that target. So if your opponent has 1 set card, you Night Beam it and it's gone, and you don't have to worry about it. And the only trick, there's an easy trick to getting around this though, is you chain a different card and then you can chain the original target, and then you can get around it that way. But other than that, it's a pretty good card. On the extra deck, I have the Catastor still. I cut the Iron Chain Dragon for Armades, because Armades seems like a really good option this format. Excuse me. Because this thing doesn't get affected by anything until the end of the damage step. If it attacks or is attacked, you can't like Honest, you can't Deprison, you can't Mirror Force, you can't Book of Moon. Once the attack's declared, it goes through. That's why this is a good card. Still have the Armor Arm, because BLS Armor Arm is still a thing. Somehow. That hasn't gotten hit yet. Black Rose still made the cut. This was my first choice to cut if we were to get Trishula back, because there are no plants in this deck, and also nuking the field may or may not be the best choice, considering we still would have had Heavier Storm, so Starlight Road would have stayed around. But Trishula gets around Starlight Road because it banishes and not destroys. So Black Rose would have been my first cut if we would have gotten Trishula, but I don't know if we're going to get Trishula ever. I want Trishula back, but I don't know. Formula, still in the deck. It's a nice... Actually, it goes neutral. Because you use 2 to get 1, you're -1, then you draw 1, you're back to 0. So it's basically just deck thinning. But if you draw into some, like, if you draw into the Allure and then you have a Dark in your hand, you go +1. Because you have 2, then Formula makes 1, then you draw 1, you're 2, Allure goes 1, 3, 2. No, you're still at 0 actually. Yeah, on to the next stuff. Frozen Fitzgerald, because Junk Raikou. Simple as that. And then your opponent can't Mirror Force, Deprison, Book of Moon. But they can Honest this. They can do monster effects. And then for 8s, Scrap and Stardust are still here. Quasar had to go. Stardust Radiance Dragon, I feel, is going to be a much better card this format. Because, for one, Quasar isn't exactly an easy thing to get out in this deck. With the removal of Iron Chain, I have to use Formula and 2 5s. And 5s are kind of the hardest to come across in this deck, surprisingly. So, but this thing I can open. I can open Stardust Radiance. I cannot open Quasar in this deck at all. There's a 0% chance, especially with Monster Reborn gone. Monster Reborn was key in getting me back, like, around a Veiler. So, Quasar had to go. It might have stayed if we'd have kept Reborn, but it's not here. Reborn isn't here, so Quasar goes by. The Xyz monsters are all the same. Chrononaut, Levier, Zen Mines, Maestroke, Blackship, and Pappy. These have been working. These 6 Xyz monsters have been doing the best job for my deck with how it needs to work. And I think that this lineup will work the best, again, for the next 4 months. Because we're now at 4-month formats, which I think is better for the game. January, May, and September are better than March and September. Because that's less time with a shitty format. Like, instead of a 6-month shitty format, you only get a 4-month shitty format, which kinda helps the game's balance. So let me know what you guys think. Comments, suggestions, questions. Could go on, but I'm on kind of a limit with Screencast-O-Matic. I'm not paying to upgrade, so whatever. 24 Tributor, trying to sign out. I can